Good afternoon, my Real News Media TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for January 19, 2024. And in the news this afternoon, 2 Jamaicans detained after arriving by boat in Cayman. 2 Jamaican men have been detained in the Cayman Islands after they arrived in the country by boat. The men reportedly arrived on the south shore of Grand Cayman on Thursday morning. The Cayman Compass reported that the vessel was recovered along the shoreline in breakers. The police and the partner agencies, including Customs and the Border Control, are investigating the matter. Female cop acquitted in 2018 shooting of mentally ill man. Female District Constable Nicola Williams, who was charged in 2018 with shooting a mentally ill man in St. Thomas, was acquitted when she appeared before the St. Thomas Parish Court on Tuesday. Ms. Williams, who is attached to the Morante Bay Police, was arrested and charged with wounding with intent in December 2019. The court was told that on November 17, 2018, the district constable shot and injured the man on South Street in Morante Bay. The prosecution told the court that the man had entered a bakery and was told to leave. When he refused, the district constable intervened. During the trial, prosecutors of the Independent Commission of Investigations called 7 witnesses. The main witness refused to be cross-examined by defense attorney Hensley Williams. He told the court that he wanted to take no further part in the case. The judge directed him to answer the questions, but he still refused. The Crown informed the court that it had lost the possession of CCTV footage obtained from the store where the incident occurred and could not proceed any further with the trial and offered no further evidence. District Constable Williams was then freed by the presiding judge. St. James tire repairman charged with murder. 31-year-old tire repairman from St. James was charged with murder following the death of a man at a football field in the parish on Sunday. He is Opley Banks of a Bottom Road address in Orange. The deceased has been identified as a 40-year-old Santino plumber, a laborer of Lilliput in the parish. Reports are that about 11:30 p.m., plumber went to the area to conduct a business transaction, during which an argument developed with a woman and Ebanks intervened. The quarrel between the two men became physical, and it is alleged that Ebanks used a stone to strike a plumber. The police were alerted, and on their arrival, the deceased man was seen lying face down in blood with an injury to the head. Plumber, who was also seen running from the scene, was chased and held by the police. 211 tickets issued, 4 arrested in St. Elizabeth traffic operation. An operation spanning across the town centers in St. Elizabeth on Thursday resulted in 211 motorists being ticketed and the recovery of stolen vehicles. Head of the St. Elizabeth Police, Acting Superintendent Coleridge Minto, said 4 people were taken into custody. At the end of the operation, we issued 211 tickets. 4 people were arrested. 5 motorcycles and 5 cars were seized. In Black River, a motor vehicle which was reported stolen in St. James, a Toyota Noah, was recovered. The vehicle bore the license plates of another vehicle that was also reported stolen in St. James. 2 other vehicles suspected of being stolen were also seized. 1 person was arrested in connection with the stolen vehicle, said Minto. Some officer in charge of the St. Elizabeth Traffic Department, Sergeant Albert Simpson, said motorcyclists continue to lead in road fatalities. We continue to clamp down on these illegal motorcyclists. Last year, the division recorded 30 fatal collisions, 19 of which were motorcyclists. We are asking all motorcyclists to be extremely careful when riding their motorcycles and to wear protective gear, he said. Con man racks up 29th conviction. Donov Butler, the 65-year-old man who confessed to having almost 30 previous convictions for removing dead bodies from a cemetery, will be headed back to prison after pleading guilty to larceny by trick on Thursday in the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court. Prosecutors contended that on September 22, 2023, the complainant was in a corporate area parking lot when she was approached by Butler, who introduced himself as a medical doctor. Butler explained that he was seeking her assistance as the police had seized his motor vehicle that his daughter was driving with his licensed firearm inside. He then begged the complainant to assist him with $30,000 to attend the police station as he feared being charged with a negligent loss of firearm. During the conversation, the complainant received a telephone call from her father, who was ill. Butler interjected and offered medical advice, saying the complainant's father should change his doctor, and even convinced him that he could treat the illness. The complainant's father, having heard Butler's suggestions, told his daughter to give Butler the $30,000. Butler, the court heard, went into a building and did not return, even as the complainant sat for hours awaiting repayment of the sums she lent him. This is interesting. These are the things movies are made of. Haven't you come here before? Didn't you tell me that you would not come back here before me? Weren't you the one who said to me that you were throwing yourselves at the mercy of the court? Didn't you express a sentiment like that before me? Senior Parish Judge Lorian Cole Montague asked, probing. Yes, Your Honor, Butler responded. He confessed to having 27 previous convictions for removing a corpse from the cemetery and another conviction for simple larceny. He was first convicted in 2003. You can imagine my extreme disappointment at this time, and I suppose it is for that reason you have not even tried to persuade me to be merciful. This is very creative. You not only took the lady's money, but you're on the phone talking to the lady's sick father, pretending to be a doctor. How cruel! And telling the man to change his doctor too, Cole Montague said. I think you and I know that I have no choice but to send you to prison. But now I wonder if more should be done. Perhaps you should go before the High Court for being a habitual offender. You have already gotten 3 years and you are back here. Something more needs to be done, she said. Since Butler's release from prison last July, after he was sentenced to 3 years imprisonment, he explained that he was admitted to the hospital as he is faced with a heart condition, angina. He was remanded in custody until March 7, when he is to be sentenced. His criminal records were requested by the senior judge. Silvera a suspect. Former Member of Parliament for Western St. Mary, Julian Silvera, was preparing for a party yesterday evening for an aunt of his deceased wife when investigators showed up to confront him. The news understands that the party was cancelled as the former MP, who is now a suspect in his wife's gun murder, was dragged to the office of the Jamaica Constabulary Force's Major Investigation Division under flashing siren lights sometime after 5 p.m. Investigators say they have made a major breakthrough in the murder of 42-year-old Melissa Silvera, the mother of the former MP's 3 boys. Head of the JCF's crime portfolio, Deputy Commissioner of Police Fitz Bailey, said the police have sufficient evidence to mount a viable prosecution against the former People's National Party representative. This after intense weeks of investigation into Silvera's cause of death and following a ruling from the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions. Melissa was laid to rest last Friday at the St. Andrew Parish Church. Last evening, Julian was seated in the conference room at the MID for a little over 2 hours, waiting on his attorney Peter Champagny Casey to arrive there for his 3rd round of questioning. Silvera was questioned on 2 occasions last year. Several lines of inquiry were drawn during the investigative process. As a consequence, consultation was made with the Office of the DPP, who concur with our findings, DCP Bailey said. This significant development is a testament to the dedication of the JCF in serving the public and upholding the principles of being a force for good. The JCF remains resolute in its commitment to transparency, justice, and public safety, he said, adding that the JCF understands the concerns of the public. The news understands that the Casey Champagny was livid when he arrived at MID last night. Our news team was told that Silvera had been asked to present himself at MID by 9 a.m. yesterday. However, an 11th hour call from his attorney to facilitate the process was stood down. He requested that Mr. Silvera present himself on Friday at 9 a.m. instead. However, the police took the position that they would go for him. A source close to the investigation said, sharing that the police made their move at the occasion celebrating his deceased wife's aunt. The would-be party was being held at the house where Melissa took her last breath. We were getting ready to go to the party, and the name omitted told us to put it off because they came for Joe, Julian, a family friend, told the news. Initial reports were that Melissa, 42, died in her sleep on November 10 of natural causes, a month shy of her 8th wedding anniversary. An autopsy performed 3 weeks after her death unearthed at least 3 bullet fragments in her body. This prompted the police to launch a murder investigation. Silvera's licensed firearm was seized for ballistic testing. Everything scrubbed down, he even wiped our computer and is hiding our phone, a source close to the investigation told the news. Our news team was told that investigators revisited an individual who assisted with the cleaning up activities at the Diamond Court apartment on Sunday, January 14, and took further statements. The news also gathered that the police sergeant, who attended upon the scene first by himself, was transferred from the Stony Hill police station. He reportedly drove his personal car to the crime scene. Up to press time, Silvera was reportedly undergoing questioning. Investigations are ongoing.